Hello, Professor Janati. Today, our group is going to be talking about guerrilla marketing and technologies. Our group members include Olivia Buisson, Drishti Jindal, Tanvi Malhotra, Vivian Chu, Oshai South Beckles, and myself, Anessa Heeman. To begin with, what exactly is guerrilla marketing? Guerrilla marketing is a creative content marketing strategy that uses unconventional, low-cost, high-profit tactics to promote a brand. So what it does is that it places images or messages associated with a brand in unexpected places. This catches the audience by surprise, wins over their attention, and leaves a lasting brand impression. This form of marketing thrives on out-of-the-box thinking. Rather than sitting behind a computer and crafting a Facebook post or a newsletter, marketers are forced to dynamically reinvent aspects of their audience's physical surroundings in order to promote the brand. In this presentation, we will focus on just 5 forms of guerrilla marketing, including ambient marketing, ambush marketing, experiential marketing, grassroots marketing, and viral marketing. Before we begin, can you think of any forms of guerrilla marketing that you have recently come across? So, our first case study with this report is ambient marketing. Ambient marketing involves placing advertising on unexpected, everyday objects that captures the audience's attention. These ads are nuanced, random, and intelligent all the same. An excellent example is carried out by Axe, the deodorant company. So they place custom stickers beside the emergency exit man in a number of buildings. So the emergency exit guy is actually traditionally used to show where people can exit in case of emergency. But Axe completely reinvented the sign to make it look as though 4 women were chasing the guy because he used an Axe product. So the sign is very commonplace, so it made it very easy for them to place the ad in a massive amount of places. It's also very nuanced, comical, and it's effective in reinforcing ties with Axe's infamous sex marketing schemes. The only problem with this ad is that it's hard to blur the line between this form of guerrilla marketing and vandalism. All the same, they were effective in reinforcing their brand image, and they also were able to implement something that was very eye-catching. Here are a few more examples from Axe. So the first is the same concept as the previous. It's utilizing a random water source to advertise the brand. So they place an Axe bottle sticker, a plus sign, an equal sign, and a sticker of 3 ladies all to the left and right of a water supply object like a tap, a hose, and sprinklers. And this shows that basically, Axe plus water equals to 3 women. And then the other image shows some custom-made Axe towels that were distributed to men at a spa, which feature a lady with crossed legs at the back of the towel. Another example is that done by the IWC watch company. So they basically reinvented bus straps on the airport buses at JFK, and they made them look like custom designed prototypes of their new watch, the Big Pinot Chrono. So this form of guerrilla marketing is actually very innovative, and it allows customers to try on the watch without even going to a mall or an outlet. So that basically kills 2 birds with a stone, as it provides customer testing, and it also leaves a lasting brand impression. The next type of guerrilla ads we're focusing on that are ambient ads is bagvertising. So this is actually very popular. It's becoming increasingly noticed in the society. A lot of companies are using bags to advertise their brands, and not only is this easy to implement, but it's also very eye-catching. So you could turn around and see someone with a bag advertisement in the train station, and just saying that, you would always have a lasting impression of what the ad was about, and it would be very hard to forget, especially if it was visually appealing. So our next ad will be the Feed SA shopping cart ad. So Feed SA is a charitable organization based in South Africa. They strategically place the pictures of underprivileged children begging for food in several shopping carts in a mall. So the images basically give the illusion that the customers were putting their groceries directly into the hands of these children. And the message on the shopping cart was, see how easy feeding the hungry can be. The ad is direct and attention-grabbing and uses pathos and irony to convey the message.
Hi, my name is O'Shea. I will be discussing our second case study, which will focus on experiential marketing, which is a type of guerrilla marketing that really focuses on giving people a memorable experience to take away after they interact with the event, picture, or object. So this is, I think, more effective than an advertising message, since it's something that leaves the consumer with an emotional impression that will be connected to that brand, that will hopefully make the person feel more connected to the brand and hopefully favor the brand in the future without pushing a specific product for them to buy at that exact moment. In the next slide, I intended to ask the audience about their personal experience, if they can remember the last time they saw an example of experiential marketing. Then in the next slide, I have 3 really great examples of experiential marketing. One is a Sprite shower. Again, a very fun and bold, big way to showcase your brand in a way that's very interactive with people on a beach. The next one is of an airport. So it's an ad that was created by a casino company, and they were able to transform a luggage claim belt into a very vibrant roulette wheel. Again, so this will familiarize people who pass by that airport or who are waiting for their bags with this casino company doing such a huge, bold move that will leave a really great impression, especially for adults. And then the last one here is a billboard that is interactive with people who are walking by on the street. Again, this is something that is very simple but bold and will leave a memorable impression and that people can interact with when they walk by. It lights up, showing that everybody can have a bright idea. And this was done by The Economist. Again, it will have a positive brand recognition attached to it for the people who do understand the creativity behind it. Now on the next slide, I'm going to discuss my main case study, which is an eBay shopping experience. It was basically a pop-up store that eBay had funded with a collaboration of an art, a sachet art, to provide an experience while conducting an experiment about purchasing decisions. Basically, people would walk into the gallery, they would put on a headband that would be able to track radio waves to the brain that would show whether the person is a shoppycat or an inspired shopper. So in the next slide, I go into more details explaining the ad and just really talking about how doing something so interactive makes a great impression on the consumers and leaves them with a positive image of the brand without being so marketing in people's face about shop with eBay. Instead, they're just talking about shopping in general and focusing on art and really making it more about the consumer and the people in the experiment. And then in my final slide, I just wanted to ask the audience, do you think it's worth it? Do you think the cost of experiential marketing, so all of these examples that I showed, are something that would cost I think a significant amount of money, just considering the labor, the planning, purchasing the space to do any of the following examples for the campaigns? because it's not a traditional ad, even though the brand is still associated with all of the examples that I showed, there's no direct way to really track sales and the conversion rates. So I wanted to know what the opinion of other people are, whether you think that this type of marketing is worth it, and whether you think the emotional impact and impression on consumers is really worth it. In my opinion, I feel like it is, because I'd rather have a bunch of good experiences with a brand, because then I would know when it does come time for me to pick a company, I will go with the one that I feel the most attached to. So I feel like experiential marketing is a great way to attach consumers to a brand in a very natural way. Thank you.
And with that said, we come to our third Guerilla Marketing and Technology case study today, which will cover Spotify's data-driven outdoor ads. So with a show of hands, how many of you have heard of Spotify? Okay, quite a bit of you, I'd expect that. So Spotify is actually number 9 on the brand relevance index of US and UK, and it's now on Forbes' list for the 4th most popular music streaming site. Today's case study looks at Spotify's 2018 campaign goals. So this campaign ran in 7 American cities and 18 other global locations that include Australia and other countries. The point of this campaign was to use user data to create comical New Year's resolutions. Spotify looked at users' listening habits from 2017 to create funny strategies for dealing with life in 2018. A few of these ads were 2018 goals. Be as humble as the person who got an entire billboard for listening to Humble 1,251 times, or skip dinner invites from the people who added these songs to their cooking playlists. Slippery, All of Me, DNA, or even exercise more conventionally than the 46 people who put slow hands on their running playlists. So these ads not only targeted specific audiences per region, but they also analyzed what neighborhoods most listened to artist was and customized ads for them. They also looked at the political situations of a country, and then they created ads specific to them as well. So an example of what actually ran for 2018 goals was Deliver Burns, as well as the person who streamed Bad Liar 86 times the day Sean Spicer resigned. So none of these ads actually mention Trump, but they have some relation to them, as Sean Spicer was actually Trump's ex-press secretary, and he was known to be very controversial and make a lot of false statements. And so this ad was actually funny to the people that were following American politics and the people that were in the geographical location that this billboard was placed in itself. Another example of a neighborhood-based ad would be, Dear person in Venice who listened to Adele for 4 hours straight on Valentine's Day, you okay? So ads like this actually specifically catered to unique individuals, and they didn't care for those who didn't understand what they were about. So for example, the political ad, it didn't really care if you understood it or not. It was just targeting the person or the group of people that were actually able to understand it. An example of a couple of ads that I'm sure a lot of us won't understand are less fake news, more fake magic. Over 3,415,839 streams of Peking ducks, fake magic, true stories. See, ads like this, some of them you're just not going to understand, so that's okay. So to discuss whether this ad campaign was a success or not, I want to ask you, how do you think Spotify was branded after this campaign? Do you think it was funny, invasive, exciting, sincere, or creepy? Go for it. Okay, so actually what we found was this ad campaign sparked a lot of positive remarks, and people found it to be funny, and they thought the campaign showed Spotify to be exciting, sincere, and in general really positive. Since it was a huge success because it didn't talk about itself, it spoke about its customers, and it made Spotify users feel heard and appreciated. People like to be celebrated and noticed, so this ad was perfect. It actually was very, very successful. It had 600,000 shares per photos, because what actually happened was people would come up and they would take pictures of these ad campaigns and post them on their social media. And so there was a 10% increase in sales and just use of Spotify, and it got a lot of attention to Spotify Premium and other features that Spotify was offering. This entire ad campaign was actually based off the ad campaign in 2016, which did something similar, where they had 10 billboards and then they just created ads that sort of took off again on social media through pictures and reposts. And with that, in 2018, Spotify decided to buy 6,000 billboards and just run the same ad. So just a leading thought, what type of guerrilla marketing was used? What do you guys think was used in this ad campaign? Okay. So actually, I think this is more of a grassroots or street marketing sort of campaign, because they did use unconventional means of advertising to promote the brand in public areas. They got consumers to remember and recall the brand, and they were just in public, and maybe grassroots because they won customers over based on individual basis, and they didn't dissemination of the market or the message in hopes that consumers were paying attention. And that's all for this. Thank you.
So for the fourth case study, we're going to be doing grassroots marketing. A grassroots marketing campaign's aim is to win the customers over on an individual basis. The goal is to highlight the connection between the consumer and the brand instead of a mass message to a group. For this case study, we're going to be looking at Tinder's collaboration with Domino's. Tinder's collaboration with Domino's is a chatbot campaign that debuted on Valentine's Day to promote Domino's Pizza. Domino's released a chatbot named Dom Juan on the Tinder platform on Valentine's Day. It allowed individual users to match with the bot and chat with it about pizza. The bot offered quirky pizza pickup lines and fun questionnaires with a goal to entice the user to order pizza. Can anyone guess why they would have released the campaign on Valentine's Day exactly? So if you guessed this correct, what happened is Louise Butler, the brand and digital communications manager for Domino's, explained that Valentine's Day is a huge day of sale for the international pizza chain. She estimates that by dinner time, 1,000 pizzas are made a minute to meet with the demand for the holidays. By incorporating Tinder, a popular dating application that sees massive spikes during the annual holiday, Domino's hopes to increase their pizza sales by catching the opportunity to speak and entice the individual users that would swipe through the application. Has anyone else experienced a grassroots campaign on that application Tinder?
Another form of guerrilla marketing is ambush marketing. Ambush marketing, also known as coattail marketing or predatory ambushing, is the practice of hijacking or co-opting another advertiser's campaign to raise awareness of another company or brand, often in the context of event sponsorships. To show you better what this form of marketing looks like, here are two examples involving Audi versus BMW and Rona in collaboration with iPod. In the first example of Audi versus BMW, it all began after BMW hosted a rally in Wisconsin, an event that was publicized through an accompanying campaign. The slogan of this campaign was, "A BMW rally with 2 nearby service centers. What's next? Paramedics at a chess tournament?" Audi saw an opportunity to capitalize upon this BMW campaign. In response to their ads, Audi actually purchased a billboard in Santa Monica advertising its new A4 sedan and mocking BMW's slogan by captioning, "Chess? No thanks, I'd rather be driving." The two car companies continued to have a back and forth until BMW ended the feud by attaching a blimp to the Audi billboard on which the words "Game Over" were written. Another instance of ambush marketing was back in 2010 when Apple was advertising its colorful iPod Nano line, and Canadian paint and hardware firm Rona seized its chance and made its own billboard ad directly beneath Apple's iPod ad to advertise the company's new paint recycling program. One noteworthy instance where ambush marketing took place was in October of 2011 when Apple was preparing to launch the iPhone 4S. Samsung actually decided to crash Apple's party by setting up a pop-up store just a few feet away from Apple's prestigious storefront in Sydney, Australia. So while eager Apple customers waited patiently to get their hands on the new iPhone, Samsung proceeded to sell its Galaxy S2 device for just $2 Australian at the pop-up store. Due to this, many people chose to walk away with a brand new Samsung device rather than wait in line for the iPhone 4S. So, in your opinion, do you think ambush marketing is an effective form of marketing? Ambush marketing definitely has its advantages and disadvantages. Ambush marketing campaigns are often a lot more memorable than a typical ad precisely because they're unusually entertaining or clever. Another one of the key advantages of ambush marketing is that it allows brands to go off script from the regular advertising campaigns, whether in style, tone, or content. And done well, it can actually help brands cultivate and exhibit new brand attributes and values that consumers may not necessarily already associate with that advertiser. However, there are some disadvantages. One of the main drawbacks of ambush marketing is that it has the potential to be very expensive. Another problem with ambush marketing campaigns is that calculating the ROI of such a campaign can be very difficult, if not actually impossible. If we take, for instance, the whole Samsung versus Apple case study, Samsung did technically give its phones more exposure as a result of this, but they also sold their phones for a price that was significantly lower than what they usually sell them for. So technically, it would seem as though the company had a big loss. However, it's difficult to tell since you can't assign numerical values to intangible factors such as brand awareness or positive consumer sentiment. Another problem with ambush marketing campaigns is that in addition to the potential costs involved, these campaigns often require a relatively quick response or coordinated planning, or both, if they are to work effectively or successfully leverage the target campaign to achieve its goal.
Viral or buzz marketing is an advertising strategy that maximizes awareness of the product, service, or campaign using existing social networks. Essentially, the message spreads rapidly from person to person like a virus. The idea is for it to be the users themselves that choose to share the content, so users have to be encouraged to share the message. Because this concept thrives off the speed at which the content is shared, social networks are the natural habitat of this type of marketing. The most common way in which these campaigns and ads are now being carried out is through YouTube videos, which are then shared on other platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter. That being said, it's also important to consider the fact that viral marketing can at times be quite risky since the power is entirely in the consumer's hands, and as a result, the campaign has the chance to be misinterpreted or parodied. The It's a Tide ad was first aired in 2018 during the Super Bowl, which is already the most important advertising event of the year, so it was bound to create some sort of buzz. It features the Stranger Things actor David Harbour in various scenarios, essentially telling you that every ad you've ever seen is actually just a Tide ad. So it's basically just a prank every 2 seconds. The idea behind this was the fact that people in commercials are always wearing clean clothes, and so only a powerful detergent like Tide can make clothes so white and clean. The takeaways from this ad are basically the fact that the whole thing was intended to be a joke and taken lightly, and the marketer's use of recreating notable moments from other viral ads increased the potential of the It's a Tide ad by a huge margin, resulting in a social media frenzy. The next ad is the Amazon ad for the Amazon Echo. The marketers used the device's features to their advantage and came up with one of the most successful ads of 2018 called Alexa Loses Her Voice. This ad was also released during the Super Bowl and represents the creative idea that Alexa lost her voice and is instead replaced by celebrity voices. A big part of the success of the ad was the selection of celebrities such as Cardi B, Gordon Ramsay, and Rebel Wilson, who are all infamous for their powerful, unique, and quirky characters. Their voices are also very specific and easy to detect, and as a result open up to a huge market collectively.